And now, for a few quick announcements. Remember, parishioners, your church tithes are due this week. Kumbal will be in charge of collecting them for the church. If you can't pay your tithes this week, we will also accept your life as a payment. Our head Sunday school teacher, Razakat, is looking for some volunteers to some teacher's assistants to help in his lesson planning. So if that interests you, be sure to sign up on his sign-up sheet in the fellowship hall. And lastly, parishioners, I'm growing so tired of reminding you all, please close the door to the little Athreos Achiever Sanctuary after feeding them. They're getting out at night and stealing parishioners, and that does not make Athreos happy at all. Welcome to the Church of Athreos. Have a seat, have a seat. Welcome to the Church of Athreos. Hope you're excited for today's church service. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, I love it. We're going to keep on this one. We have Bloodstained Mire Plains, Ancient Tomb to get some fast mana going, and we have Right, which I absolutely love this card. This is a wonderful flavor card, but also actually works out really well in the deck, and especially with something like Diabolic Intent, being able to sacrifice a few of those cleric tokens for the greater good in the name of Athreos. So let's see if our opponent wants to mulligan past 6 or not, and we'll get this going. Okay, let's go and lead off with Bloodstained Mire. There's nothing we need to do for turn 1, so we're simply just going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Athreos, God of Passage, the official, the main man of the church. Devotion 7 turns into a creature. Then, whenever a creature you control dies, return it to your hand unless target opponent pays 3 life. Now, I will go ahead and get this out there. Athreos is currently bugged on Magic Online, so that is a little bit of a downside. So hopefully it doesn't affect the game, but just getting it out there. But I don't really want to not play the deck because of that reason. Now, as far as anything for turn 3, let's just go ahead and get down Swamp. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That way it puts us online for Liliana next turn, and we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. And then I'll make sure that I grab a Godless Shrine off the Bloodstained Mire. Playing against Atraxa. Praetors Voice, Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Then at the beginning of your instep, Proliferate. So, but yes, welcome to the church. Hope you're excited. It feels so nice to be back in the sanctuary, to smell that wonderful rich copper smell. It feels good to be back in here. And if you're new to the channel, let's say you're new to the church service, make sure you sit up towards the front. Athreos and I will definitely try to sacrifice you during today's service, if that's something that you want to do. Either way, you don't really have a choice, so might as well go and sit up towards the front. Let's go and crack Bloodstained Mire. Let's go and grab a Godless Shrine. I'm just going to go for Vampiric Tutor, okay. Alright, so we're going to grab Godless Shrine, have that come into play, not going to pay 2 live, and then that will put us online next turn. We're actually going for Rite of, yeah, I think I like that. I think that sounds pretty good. Let's go and do that. Let's go and get down Ancient Tomb. Yeah, because next turn we get down Liliana. That kind of keeps us off in a weird spot to where hopefully if we get a Black Source, we might be able to Liliana and Diabolic Intent, but I definitely do like getting down Rite, and then that way we can get some of those clerics going. Alright, 1-2. Okay, get those 2 cleric tokens on the battlefield, and then anything else we will pass it back over to Atraxa. Look at this art. I love it. It's an official happy Church of Athreos. Look how happy he looks to be in the Church of Athreos. I love it. But yes, like I mentioned, if you're new to the channel, what are we doing with the Church of Athreos? This is an Aristocrats deck. It's not full-blown Aristocrats. It's just kind of good value Aristocrats. We've got a lot of good synergy in here. We have a lot of human clerics in here, so it's kind of a human cleric church. That's how it originally started, very, very long time ago. And so drawn to Obnixilis, and I love that. Let's go and get those clerics on the battlefield. Let's go and get down Plains, and then, yeah, I don't mind getting the card draw going. It's going to be pretty good, and it's also going to give us some really good devotion for Athreos once we finally get him down. But since our opponent is tapped out, or at least for the most part, we don't have to really worry about any sort of counterspell. Hopefully, we'll be able to get down Obnixilis and start getting that +1 going, get that card draw going, and be able to take care of Atraxa once Atraxa does hit the battlefield. So it's going to plus up on Obnixilis, get that card draw. Drawn to Demon, okay, and then anything else, we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. But I did update the deck, as you can tell, so we have Open the Graves in our opening hand, which is really nice. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Also have Demon of Catastrophes. Fits in so perfectly with the church, and look at that person down there. I don't know, it just reminded me of the Church of Athreos. Typically, it used to kind of be like a little bit of a Reanimator deck, but we always I like to keep about 2 or 3 demons in here, kind of as associate passers, and so I wanted to give Demon of Catastrophes a shot at the deck. So as additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature, flying and trample. So as you can tell, we have a bunch of clerics on the battlefield. I would go for Demon of Catastrophes and end up with a 6/6 flyer, which is really nice. So let's see what our opponent's going to roll out for the turn, and then we can kind of get some good stuff going for our turn. Okay, opponent's going to get down Commander Sphere. and they will get down Lightning Greaves. Now, with Rite of Belzum, we're going to be able to get down a Demon. The beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature if you can't, deal 6 damage to you. So, hopefully, not hopefully, but we do have a lot of sack outlets in here, so it's not the end of the world if for some reason we get down really low on creatures. Alright, an opponent did get down a Lightning Greaves, so let's do this. I want to have some sort of spot removal, if possible. Let me double check something. Okay, get the demon on the battlefield. Yeah, we do. If we wanted to, we can use this Diabolic Intent. Ooh, that's okay. We're not going to really be swinging it anyway. We're dealing with haste, but we definitely want to stop into our second main phase. Let's go and plus up on Omnixilis. Draw into Zulaport Cutthroat. And then let's go and go for Diabolic Intent on one of our clerics. Let's sacrifice a cleric. Let's go ahead and grab, go for the throat. I want to be able to get some sort of spot removal whenever they do get down Atraxa. So we're going to get this popped out just a little bit. And then, let's see. We're going to go for the throat. And then anything else, yeah, we're just going to go and pass the turn. Leave up that spot removal. And then hopefully just kind of get that commander tax going up on Atraxa. You know, we are sitting, our opponent only has 2 cards in the hand. And we have a whole lot of good stuff to get down. The only thing that we do need to get into is some sort of, get some lands down on the battlefield. And then we can really get that going. But like I mentioned earlier, so we do have this really nice human cleric theme in here. So we have stuff like Athreos Necromancer that whenever a human dies, create a 2/2 zombie. Also have stuff like Rotlung Reanimator that says whenever a cleric dies, create a 2/2 zombie. So let's say that we do kind of get these some sort of nice thriving board state going to where we sacrifice a human cleric and we have both of those on the battlefield, end up with 2/2 zombies. It makes for a wonderful church service. Add to the fact that you throw down something like Open the Graves and get an additional zombie token on the battlefield. And really, it's just kind of going for some really nice value. All right, opponent's going to get down Elinda Archmage. Yeah, that's fine. That will give them some sort of protection to take care of Atraxa, but especially when we go for the throat. Do we want to go for the throat on Elinda right now? It's going to come back and they can still go for that activation. Yeah, that's fine. That's not the end of the world on that. Okay, and our opponent will not actually swing in with this demon over here. The good thing about this demon is it does have trample, so that will allow us to kind of go from there. And look how nice that looks. The art looking into each other. Oh, looks good. Okay, nothing we need to do, go for the throat, and then we'll go and sacrifice one of our clerics. Draw into Imperial Seal. You know, definitely want to get the land drop done for the turn, so I'm thinking about going for, since we do have at least 2 board wipes in the hand to take care of Atraxa, I'm perfectly fine with this. Let's go and go for Imperial Seal. And let's just go ahead and grab a, let's go and grab Scrub Land off of that. Actually, we'll go and grab Urborg. Yeah, I like that. Let's go and plus up on Omnixilis, draw a card, and lose a life. Let's go and get down Urborg. That way we can at least kind of minimize some of this Ancient Tomb damage. Let's go and get down Liliana. And actually, if we want to, we could get down Liliana, but let's do this. Let's go and swing in first with the Demon. I thought about getting down to Liliana, but what we can do is I'd like to leave up Go for the Throat. That way we can at least get some sort of activation out of Elinda Archmage. I think that would be pretty good. All right, put our opponent down to 22. And let's go and get down Zulaport Cutthroat. Get that down, and then anything else, no, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we are looking at getting down Atraxa, or our opponent will, hopefully next turn. That does put us on line for going for Go for the Throat, and then we'll see if they end up going for that Archmage activation. Sorry about that. I didn't realize, I didn't know if you heard it in the background, but my phone was ringing, and I didn't realize I did not have it on vibrate. But yes, we'll see what our opponent's going to roll out for the turn. And then as far as next turn goes, hopefully we'll start making these land drops, and we get down Liliana, and then get down Open the Graves, and really kind of start going from there. Now, with Zulaport Cutthroat on the battlefield, that does give us that nice, wonderful Blood Artist effect. The only thing we're really missing right now is some sort of sack outlet. That's going to allow us to really kind of start sacrificing out our entire board. Voice of Plenty. You and Planeswalkers you control, creatures you control have hexproof. So, okay. And that actually is going to negate, if we had Blood Artists on the battlefield, that would negate that. But thankfully with Zulaport Cutthroat, that gets around. Each opponent loses 1 life. Yeah, that's fine. Go and get that down. Now what we can do, yeah, let's do this. Let's go and go for the Throat. Since they're not going for Atraxa, I'd like to get rid of her off the battlefield. Because if they get that, what if they get a +1 counter on there? Let's say we go for Damnation next turn after we swing in. Yeah, let's go and go for that. Let's go and go for the Throat. That'll at least kind of chew up some of their mana. Okay, and they do get down Lightning Greaves, and that's going to leave at least 2 mana next turn to go for that. So what we can do is actually tap down for Damnation to see if they want to counter that with Glen. And then what we can do is if we need to, we can follow it up with Toxic Deluge and kind of clean up the rest of the board. Alright, so we have Shylight swinging in, and Obnixilis is going to knock him down to 5, which is not too bad. We still get that card draw for next turn. Okay, we'll go and sacrifice one of these Cleric tokens and get a Zulaport trigger too, which is, oh, look at that. Love that synergy. Then we draw, ooh, there we go, drawn to Sackhallow, drawn to Viscera Seer. We can go for -3 on Glenolinda if we want to, but excuse me, it has hexproof, so we cannot do that. Let's go and push across with the Demon first. Okay, it's going to put them down to 15. You know, let's go and plus up on Obnixilis. I like that. Draw a card and lose a life. Drawn to Tithe, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they definitely have more lands than we do. I'd like to get Athreos down. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we get Devotion online next turn with Liliana. So let's do this. Let's go and get down Athreos. And then let's go ahead and go for, we're going to leave Tithe up on this one. Let's go and go for Viscera Seer too. That way we have a sack outlet. Okay, anything else? No. We'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. So next turn we are looking, let's get the devotion count again. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are looking at 6 devotion. Once we get down either Liliana or Open the Graves, that's going to give us a few more devotion for Athreos to swing across. Now, we do get into the spots where with the demon having trample, that will allow us to hopefully kind of swing into our opponent and deal some combat damage. Let's say that they do get down Atraxa and get the Lightning Greaves onto Atraxa and want to take care of Obnixilis. That's perfectly fine, because we're kind of in this weird state to where we might be able to kind of get some sort of small Aristocrats win by dealing enough combat damage between Athreos and Demon. Just kind of depends on how they want to swing in, but let's see what they're going to do for the turn first. Okay, opponent's going to tap down for Atraxa, and they do not actually shift the Lightning Greaves over. And they're going to send Voice of Plenty in at us sitting at a 3, so we're going to knock us down to 17. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. And with them having no cards in the hand, let's go ahead and go for Tithe on this one if they're going to go for Commander's Fear. That way it kind of forces them to, if they want to, they can block down or at least activate the Archmage activation to counter this one. And I don't really think they want to do that. Let's go and grab Scrubland and we'll go and grab Plains. Okay, we'll go and sacrifice the Cleric token, the last one for the Demon. And we'll see if our opponent wants to pay that, that Athreos trigger to get that token back. It's going to put us up to 18 and them down to 14. Ooh, drawn to Rotlung Reanimator. Okay. Let's go and get Scrubland down for the turn. Let's go and plus up on Obnixilis. Draw a card. Since our opponent's creatures does have hexproof, we can't really target anything with that. Yeah, I like that. So we get down Liliana. That's going to be double black. That's going to turn on Devotion for Athreos. So they do have one card in the hand, but I like kind of rolling this out. So let's go and get Liliana down. Okay, now we'll turn on Athreos, and let's go and get down Rotlung Reanimator. Let's still go, do we want to leave up 1 white mana just to represent something? Yeah, just in case something bad happens. Let's just go and tap down on Ancient Tomb. I'd hate to lose by 2 damage just to kind of represent a Path to Exile or something like that. Okay, let's go and push across. We're going to go and send in Athreos. Let's go and send in the Demon too. Okay, so we will see Atraxa jump in front of our Demon token, getting across for 2. That's going to put them down to 11, and we'll also get that Zulaport Cutthroat trigger too. Puts them down to 10. Anything else that we want to do? So right now, if we end up sacrificing Liliana, that will give us a zombie and give us an additional zombie. So we're looking at 3 triggers off of that. You know what? Let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. We don't have just enough Aristocrat damage to get it done. If we had Blood Arts on the battlefield, I think we might be able to close it out. So basically what's going to happen is we go for Viscera Seer activation, sacrifice a creature. We sacrifice Liliana. That's going to give us a zombie. But since it was a Cleric, that's going to give us an additional zombie. So we have the Zulaport trigger for Liliana. Then we sacrifice those 2 zombies. That's 3. We sacrifice Rotlung Reanimator. That's going to be another Cleric. So we're looking at 5. And then we sacrifice Athreos. It's going to be 6. And then, yeah. So we need to get at least a few more creatures on the battlefield. Hopefully, next turn we should be able to get it done. We can kind of piggyback some of those extra zombie tokens by getting down Open the Graves. And then maybe going for Demon of Catastrophe. So we're looking, that's going to be about 9 total mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're actually not going to have just enough for both of that. But we can at least get down Open the Graves, and that'll kind of amplify out the number of creatures that we can get down. Okay, opponent will tap down for Atraxa, and that will leave 2 mana up with 1 card left in their hand. And since we do need an additional creature, let's see if they're going to swing in. They might kind of hold it back, but we might sacrifice Liliana. It kind of depends on how we want to sequence this turn, but I don't mind getting that extra scry. Okay, we've got the opponent swinging in for 3. And then I don't think I like sacrificing Liliana to get those. Well, that'll give us 2 extra zombies to swing across that we can sacrifice. And then sacrifice. Yeah, I think I kind of do like that now that I think about it. Yeah, let's go and sacrifice. We'll wait for them to proliferate, and then we'll go and sacrifice Liliana. Yeah, let's go and sacrifice Liliana. That'll be the Athreos trigger, Zulaport, and Rotlung Reanimator. Yeah, and unfortunately, with that Athreos trigger, it should have gone back to the hand, but we're not going to get that. And actually, excuse me, I thought Liliana triggered for her own self off that one, but Vampiric Tutor will definitely leave that on top. So let's go and put that on top. And then see, drawn to that Vampiric Tutor. Let's go and get down Swamp. And if we end up grabbing Blood Artist, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we actually have enough to get down Blood Artist. So let's do that. Let's go and go for, but our opponent does have Hexproof, which is a little bit of an issue for us. Actually, I like this. Let's do this. Let's go for Vampiric Tutor. And let's go and grab Blood Artist. Yeah, I think we're going to be able to get it on this one. Let's go and plus up on Omnix. Let's draw a card and lose a life. Let's go and get down Blood Artist. And then what it's going to end up happening is if we tap down for Toxic Deluge, it's going to clear out the entire board and get around our opponent having... oh, excuse me, but they can counter that with Glenalinda. I just now realized that. Yeah, because if we swing in, that will be Atraxa coming across it. We'll get that life link. Yeah, let's see if we can't stick and open the graves. I think that sounds good, because I thought about going for Toxic Deluge, but they're going to be able to go for that counter target non-creature spell. So let's do that. Let's go and go for Open the Graves. Okay, so we do get Open the Graves down. Let's double check the actual aristocrats on that. It's going to be 1, 2... Okay, so right now I think we're exactly right at 8 if we end up going for aristocrats with Open the Graves. Let's go and push across with Athreos. That way we'll at least kind of force the Atraxa block. If not, then what we can do is at least kind of sacrifice the rest of the board out. That will give them a little bit of life gain, but at least it's going to put them on recasting Atraxa for next turn. Okay, so then there's that. So, and unfortunately, with them having Hexproof, we can't use that Blood Artist trigger. Anything else? No. Let's go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. So now they can swing in with the Atraxa. That will give them 4 additional next turn, but we're also have a really nice board state to start swinging in. And then once we kind of start sacrificing them with Open the Graves, we can get a few more zombies going onto the battlefield. Now, we can go for Damnation next turn if we want to kind of get that Blood Artist win. It kind of depends on how they want to go for that, but we're pretty much online for Toxic or Damnation, hopefully. So we'll see what our opponent's going to get down for the turn. All right, opponent's going to go for Odric. And that will be actually a total of 10 life gain for our opponent, putting them back up to 19. But let's see how they want to swing this one in. Okay, so we have the Angel swinging in Obnixilis, and it's going to be Atraxa swinging at us. That's okay, because that's only going to be 4 life gain for them. Okay, opponent's going to go for Altered Ego for 1. It enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it enters the battlefield with an additional +1 counter. Let's see what they choose on Altered Ego. And our opponent's going to go for Rotlung Reanimator, which is actually really good for us. Okay, let's see what we draw into. Draw into Priest of the Blood Rite. Let's go and get down Plains. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 total mana. I think if we get down Priest of the Blood Rite, that's going to be 2 more creatures on the battlefield. Let's double check that. I think we're going to be able to get it on this one, because that's going to amplify it out, and we'll get that additional the Blood Artist trigger once we go for Toxic Deluge. Yeah, I think this is let's go and do that. Let's go and tap down for Toxic Deluge, and we're going to go ahead and pay 4 life on this one. Let's go and plus up on Omnixilis too. Command Tower. Okay, let's go and tap down for Toxic Deluge. And we're going to go ahead and pay 5 on this one. That way we do sacrifice that demon. Okay, alright, we're going to get all these triggers on the stack. That should be enough right there. Let's go and get these going. Okay, there we go. Let's go and yield to the Rotlung Reanimator trigger. And see, now this is where a bummer, because Athreos, I think if Athreos is still bugged, our opponent's not going to pay that 3 life. If they do, that's going to allow us to go back to the hand. So if they don't pay that 3 life, we're supposed to get the card back out of the graveyard. So we'll see how this, yeah, unfortunately our opponent's not paying that life, so if they don't pay the 3 life, it's supposed to go back. So technically we'd have a few more stuff to start rolling out next turn. We would be getting some of this stuff back out of the graveyard. But yeah, that's the only downside to that is that, as you can tell, Athreos is still bugged. So that would have been they would have to untap and then do something else next turn. But unfortunately, that bug, which is kind of a bummer, it's going to at least hopefully kind of delay the win just for a little bit. No, actually, excuse me. We're going to have just enough Blood Artist triggers. Yeah, I miscounted. I thought we had it in my head. That's one of the downsides to doing this deck sometimes is that you try to do the Aristocrats math in your head right now, like really quick. And I thought I had it for a second, but for some reason I thought when I put it on the stack that we didn't have enough triggers. But that is going to be enough triggers right there. Look at that beautiful Church Servers, knocking our opponent all the way down to 0. There we go. Good game to our opponent. Definitely enjoyed it. It's always nice to beat Atraxa, and it's also nice to get some really good Aristocrats going. But you can see where Athreos, unfortunately, it is bugged. Some of the stuff can't come back out of the graveyard, but that's not going to stop us from having a good church service. And, in fact, if you enjoyed today's service, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.